I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
'2020 Lamborghini Huracan
EVO with thrust mode.
I think that was the best launch we've ever had.
I'm actually shaking.
Horsepower and torque.
640 horsepower, 443 pound-feet of torque from a 5.2 liter V10.
And how many turbos do we have on this bad boy?
0. Yes, naturally aspirated. Man, these things are dying out. I love this.
And you guys may have noticed that we're on the home stretch to 1 million subscribers. So if you like supercar stuff in the winter,
we like supercar stuff in the winter. Subscribe.
The best part about this is that it revs out so high.
Yeah, 8,500 RPM is the red line.
We recently drove the CA Corvette, which is different, we know.
But it's crazy to be mentioning that in the same sentence as this, and there's actually reason for it.
Yes, well, they put the engine in the back.
Yep.
But it doesn't rev out as high.
No, so we complained about that. This solves that problem. I mean, it wasn't a problem for this ever, but...
Yeah. It's just cooler when it revs out higher.
Exactly. So this is the EVO, so it has been updated for 2020, and this one is all-wheel drive, but they do offer it in rear-wheel drive now.
So there is no regular Huracan anymore?
No, the EVO is the Huracan now.
Is there an EVO Huracan Performante?
Not yet.
Is there a Performante at all now?
No.
So it's just a Huracan EVO?
And a convertible as well, a Spider.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
Yo, I'm gonna be real with you. Looks-wise, there was no way I would take a Spider over this.
No, same here.
From the rear angle, this thing looks so badass. In this color, it kind of looks like a DeLorean and kind of like the car from Blade Runner.
Yeah, this color is called Grigio Artis.
So now the looks?
No, before we get to the looks, everybody knows what it looks like. Let's send it into cliche corner. Downshift, 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 and let's send this. Oh my God. Okay, so obviously it's really flat. It's a friggin' Lamborghini. The steering is amazing. I don't think it's as good as McLaren's steering, but it's really good. And obviously it's really fast.
When I went through cliche in this, the thing that I found is that like, I'm on the brakes way more than everything else, and I'm still faster than every other car I've taken through cliche corner.
Yeah, this thing is silly fast, so you do need to use the brakes more for safety.
You need like a full Grand Prix track just to get the most out of it.
You really do. That's why I'm not gonna be going through too many gears today. I'm just gonna, let's just coast a little bit. So this is a dual clutch transmission, 7-speed, just like in the Audi R8. And as I said in the Audi R8, this is the fastest shifting transmission I've ever used. Let's just downshift a couple gears. Watch this, click. It's like as fast as you can think, it does it.
And lucky for us, they're column mounted so they don't turn with the steering wheel.
And the paddles themselves are so high quality, they feel so nice.
But it is quite a bit of a reach to get to it. If you're not used to that.
It really is, and there are no turn signal stocks. It's actually on the steering wheel, and I have grown to love this. This is the perfect solution to steering wheel stocks.
Honestly, they should put that on more cars.
Yeah, like regular cars.
Everyone should have that.
Yes.
Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, start doing this.
Honda, Toyota, everybody, please.
So you're in manual mode right now. If we put it into automatic, is it just as fast if you floor it?
Yep.
Holy.
Yes, it is.
Man.
Okay, so let's talk about that engine sound now. V10, naturally aspirated, sounds incredible.
I always liked the McLaren sound. I feel like that's more Formula 1-y, and this is just more that and more showmanship.
But this is more old Formula 1-y.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick between both. I love them both equally, but I think this one is a little bit better for everyone else.
Every time I think I prefer this one, for sure. Like, no question in my mind would I take a Lamborghini sound over a McLaren. However, the doors don't go up on this, so... Should we get into supercar checklist?
Supercar checklist. Is it fast? Is it loud?
Yes and yes.
Probably the most yes and yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you look cool getting in and out of it?
I mean, it's a Lambo, so yes, and especially in the winter when you got snow everywhere.
Yeah, as you can tell, it is super snowy outside. It's freezing and the wind is blowing like hotcakes.
Yeah, sorry if the footage isn't up to our usual quality, but we tried really hard today. Does it get a lot of attention? Yeah, it's a Lambo. I hope you like talking to people at gas stations.
Do the doors go up?
No, they don't. It's a Huracan.
Only the Aventadors have doors that go up.
Because V12, and this is a V10.
But I think Lamborghini should introduce a new rule that as long as it's not an SUV, the doors can go up.
I'm down with that rule. Does this have a gimmicky steering wheel? Yes, it does, because the turn signal thing.
And the drive modes and the paddles. Can it fit a box?
Box test. No, it obviously can't.
Perfect.
Supercar pass.
Visor test.
Let's find out.
Nope.
Supercar pass?
And the visors are so small, the sticker doesn't even fit all the way on it. And the last test, does it fit a small cup of coffee?
We don't actually have the cup holder option. Now, you guys grilled us in the comments on the last video. It's actually an option. This one does not have it. So is this a supercar?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So now we can get into the looks a little bit?
Let's get into the looks.
So this has no spoiler, unlike the Performante that we drove earlier. I personally love all Lamborghinis without a spoiler. Countach, no spoiler, that's my jam. Aventador, no spoiler.
The Countach with the spoiler looks so good.
The first one.
Matt Farah's Countach is perfect.
I think that green one from like the late 70s is perfect.
And then we got some pretty sick looking taillights.
Yeah, normal Huracan stuff.
And we got sick looking exhaust, just like the Performante, so they changed that.
What I really like back there is they've got all real grille, and if they have any panels that they need to block stuff off, it's behind that.
And then we have a really sick looking rear diffuser as well.
I really like it. It's like completely different shape.
And then if we look a little higher, we have our engine with our firing order for our V10.
Yes, with the V10 badge right there, and we can open up that glass and see right inside.
Yeah, and it looks super cool, cooler than the Corvette C8.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it is a little bit better. And then for side profile, we've got these gigantic scoops, and the way it comes around, it's so satisfying. It looks much better than the Spider version.
Yeah, I love how it looks from the side. And the wheels on this thing look incredible. They're huge.
Bigger in the back, smaller in the front.
And we have big carbon ceramic brakes. Love how they look.
And what is the Continental recommended tire for the Huracan EVO?
The Sport Contact 6.
And then front end.
Front end is razor sharp. They just sharpened everything about it in the front.
I think it makes it look a little less elegant, but like way more aggressive.
Yeah, this is where I think the rear wheel drive one looks so much better. They just changed the front end, the scoops. Just, I love how clean it looks.
And I like how there's like no grill at the front. It's just scoops.
Yeah, exactly. Like no fake grills because there are no grills.
And it's cool because when you're driving through snow, you can see where all of the snow goes.
Yeah, and launching into the snow is hilarious.
So overall, these looks compared to the Performante.
I like the Performante more.
Even in Spider?
No.
Okay, these looks in this color, I would take this color over like a red or something. Maybe because I like the DeLorean style, Cybertruck style look of it. But man, like this looks so perfect.
I'd take a brighter color in this any day.
Green, yellow, yes. Like a dark blue or something like that, nah, I wouldn't do it.
Totally agree. So let's get you into the driver's seat.
Launch control.
Thrust mode.
All right, a little soft, didn't stay in it.
So if this was not winter and this was not snowy conditions, it can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.9 seconds.
And that's pretty much the same as the Corvette, right?
On paper it is, and they can probably do it at the exact same pace, but it's the speed after and the sensation of speed that's way more in here.
Yeah, like this feels like, oh my goodness, the Corvette was like, I could use more.
Exactly. So if you got upset at us for saying that the Corvette's not that fast in the Corvette video, here's the answer. So let's talk about some more mechanical stuff before you send it into Cliche Corner. So we do have a mechanical locking rear differential, which is awesome. And we do have magneto-rheological suspension, which I find to be stiffer than McLaren's.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't noticed too much of a difference, but I think you have a keener feeling of the differences.
I can notice suspension changes a little bit more than you can. And another cool thing that this has is all-wheel steering. So you can actually see the degree of steering if you hit the vehicle button and go into LDVI on your infotainment, because yeah, this has a whole new infotainment. And there you can see the all-wheel drive bias, so it is primarily rear-wheel drive.
Then you also have a built-in camera that you can use for driving on track stuff to record all your data and everything.
Yeah, this has the telemetry option.
But I'm gonna hit up Cliche Corner first, and then we'll get into the rest of the infotainment.
Go for it, Yuri, send it.
And with the wet roads, I don't wanna floor it too much. Right away after I floor it, I'm on the brakes.
Pretty much.
But it's still the fastest thing I've taken through here.
But we have driven the GT2RS, GT3RS, the NSX, and a bunch of other crazy cars through here.
Like the 570 and the 650?
Yeah.
I feel like this is still faster.
And this is in the winter.
There's something about this.
It's the instant response because the V10.
It's probably that.
Yeah, it feels really fast.
Okay, so now time to get into the infotainment and the interior.
Go for it.
Can I start with the infotainment?
Please do.
So we now have a vertical screen in the middle area right here.
Yeah, before we didn't have anything.
Yeah, the last Huracan that we drove, it had the infotainment screen in the gauge cluster, so you actually had your Google Maps in your gauges.
Yeah, if you had Apple CarPlay, because this actually has Apple CarPlay, but it does not have Android Auto, or at least I can't get it to work.
And the Apple CarPlay is all vertical.
Which is pretty cool.
It looks so interesting. Like when
Yeah.
you put your directions, it like doesn't make any sense. There's like a way too much blank room.
It's one of the biggest screens for Apple CarPlay, actually.
Do you think Volvo's going to introduce this since they have vertical screens?
No, because Volvo is done by Android now. Yeah, Google.
So on this infotainment screen, we do have satellite radio, but it does not rewind.
And noticeably absent from this, because they deleted pretty much every button, there's no volume or tuning knob. However, they came up with the best solution in the world. 2 fingers on the infotainment, slide up and down, that's it. Volume changes.
But then what if you need to mute it real quick?
3 fingers, slam them down and muted.
That's genius.
It is genius.
How does a Lamborghini have so many like infotainment and interior inventions that everyone else hasn't been copying?
Honda could have just done that instead of reintroducing the volume knob, and everyone would be like, yeah, you know what? Great solution. And overall, the infotainment is really responsive. The graphics are cool. We got hexagons everywhere. I like it.
For it being in a Lamborghini, I am very satisfied with it.
It's a little too good. You know what I mean? Like, it should be worse.
This whole interior is a little too good. So let's take a general look at it. Does it feel intimidating? Does it feel overly supercar or anything?
I mean, the driving position itself feels very supercar, but in here, the materials, everything feels pretty luxurious.
It does feel kind of wide though.
Yeah, the overall car is really wide.
But inside, you really feel it.
We do have some gloss black accents, but this is at the price that you're not going to clean it yourself, so whatever.
Don't complain about that.
And we got really nice blue stitching, and I think my favorite feature is this carbon fiber pattern in the door panel, because carbon fiber is a woven material.
And different from the door panels, all the carbon fiber we have that's exposed in the middle area is hard carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's like a matte finish. I like it. I mean, I like carbon fiber, you know me.
And just like the other Huracan that we drove, we've got a start-stop button that you've got to lift a little safeguard over to start it up. And then our shifting area, reverse, you pull up, there's buttons for park and manual, but to get it into drive, you need to click the up paddle.
I love that feature, and as I said earlier, I love these paddles.
Yes, probably the best in class. Well,
maybe.
I don't know. I really like the McLaren ones too.
Yeah, they're pretty cool
Everyone
too.
at the top is good. But have you noticed that this whole shifter area is very similar to the C8? You think they borrowed some of that stuff?
Oh, for sure they did. Except they made it a little bit more awkward, because like the drive mode selector and stuff, this drive mode selector is on the steering wheel, so we have Strada, Sport, and Corsa, and I love it.
What does Strada, Sport, and Corsa mean?
Street, Sport, and Race/Track.
Nice.
And then we have some toggle buttons up here. So we do have a nose lift system, which is very much appreciated in the winter.
Then we also have our window switches up there, kind of like a Jeep.
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
And a PT Cruiser.
And other Lamborghinis.
And the gauges do change between drive modes. I really like the way it looks in Sport, but in Strada it goes all the way across.
Yeah, that's definitely your race mode.
And like you said earlier, the turn signal is on the steering wheel. I've gotten very used to it. I feel like my hands are lazy now and I don't want to leave the steering wheel at all anymore in normal cars.
That's what I'm saying.
But I have at one point hit the window wipers while trying to turn the right signal by hitting the buttons on the right side of the steering wheel.
And by the way, the left headlight button is actually for your high beams.
And then as for blind spots and everything while driving, I've got great visibility everywhere in front because the engine is in the back. The mirrors are good. I can see out the back really well.
Except you can't really look out the side. That rear section is definitely covered by engine area.
And then we've got a reverse camera.
In the middle of your gauges.
But unfortunately for us in the winter, it got covered in snow.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Subscribe for snow reviews for supercars, which we have to give Lamborghini a big shout out because now they're the third company to give us a supercar in the winter.
That's true. Shout out Lamborghini. Thank you.
And lastly, the seats.
The seats are fairly comfortable, but after sitting in them for like an hour in traffic, my side butt area was kind of painful. So if you're a little bit smaller person, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, man. As long as you're not freakishly tall, right? I'm kidding. Yeah, that's fine.
That was the other video. Watch that video. But speaking of freakishly tall, I'm actually almost hitting the roof here, but there is more room in here than there was in the Spider.
And how's the back seat room?
Oh, it's fantastic. Good one. Hey, I got a joke for you too.
Hit me with it.
Gas mileage.
One more rip and then I have a question for you.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay, how do you pronounce Huracan?
Huracan.
Huracan.
Yeah.
Is the H not silent? Is it not Huracan?
Well, depending on who you are, I've heard Lamborghini Hurricane.
Okay, I showed you a Lamborghini video. You know how he purpronounced the Murcielago?
You told me before, and it's very weird.
Murcielago.
That is very weird.
So I think someone needs to explain to us how to properly say all these names. Let us know in the comments below how we're supposed to pronounce every Lamborghini.
I believe it's Huracan, but again, I'm probably totally wrong, so I'm just gonna say Huracan.
And that's like ordering food at a restaurant, the way it's supposed to be pronounced correctly.
Yeah, something like that.
But maybe sometimes you shouldn't.
Yeah. And one thing I'd like to mention, since I'm on the passenger side, it's way more cramped than on the driver's side.
Yeah, I feel great here, even if I was 6'1.5", which I am not.
But you don't buy this for the passenger.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, depends what kind of passengers you want to pick up.
Yeah, I guess.
So I guess with all that out of the way, let's get to the price.
$305,691 to start.
Canadian.
And this is obviously not the base spec, so this one is $384,991.
Okay, that's more like it, because when you said 305, I'm like, oh man, I'm getting a little excited there. But
I would love to see a base model Huracan, like what that comes with.
That's probably not legal to sell.
Yeah, probably not. Be like, yeah, your order's coming. Never.
So that may seem like a lot, but an Aventador is still a couple $100,000 more than this.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of value in this price.
Yes, and it's like probably the craziest, fastest car I've driven, I think.
We've driven the R8, and we love that, but there was just something missing.
There was a lot missing that this covered.
Yeah, exactly. So people saying that's a poor man's Lamborghini, like, it kind of really is.
Oh, 100%.
Like, there is so much that you get from this that you don't get in the R8, minus the performance because of the engine. But one thing that you really do get in this is less understeer, because driving the R8 in the winter, we got a lot of understeer.
Yeah, and this is like right away.
You'll oversteer in this, which makes it so much more fun and just so much more satisfying. So out of all the supercars we've driven and maybe not driven, let us know in the comments where this ranks.
Honestly, I think near the top. And if you want to help us get to 1 million subscribers, just hit the subscribe button. You probably won't even get notifications anyways.
Don't even get notifications. Oh, and also click this playlist right here
to see what other supercars we're comparing this against.
Supercar playlist. You should do a supercar checklist playlist. Did you check the playlist?